So another year and we've got the third season to this amazing show, with every episode giving us a unique story, amazing cinematography and art style. Honestly, this season eclipses last season and it also added additional episodes which very much we appreciate. And as always, these exceptional episodes always feel like they could be more than they are. They could be made into a movie or an entire episode fleshed out into a full season. Anyway, let's get to the purpose of this video. I'm here to present you guys with the top 6 episodes of this season. Although I think every episode was magnificent, well, except for that mini zombie one. Even though I liked it, it was my least favorite one. So I'll be picking them based on 2 things, the story first and then the animation and cinematography second. Anyway, without any further delays, let's get right to the video. We start off with number 6 with Robots, Ezek Strategies, which is the first sequel we've ever gotten to an episode since this show started. Its first episode in season 1 followed 3 robots exploring a post-apocalyptic Earth, learning about human culture. And that ending was them discovering that cats were the one who were taking over the world after evolving during that time period. This sequel does not pick up right from there, but the plot still follows the robots in their learning adventure. We found out in the episode that humanity basically effed themselves up by being greedy, and their inability to coexist and help each other through the crisis is what doomed them all.
Humans hunted deer to extinction, along with every other animal larger than a cat.
Yeah, humans were snackish. They were mean to robots and then robots killed them.
But Mars? I mean, it's dead and lifeless. They could have taken the money they spent on the spaceships and used it to save the planet they were already on.
I mean, shocker, right? There are some Easter eggs in the episode, such as a map mentioning Radio Tower and Wolf's Complex, which were locations that were in the second game of The Last of Us. And even the spaceship that they use is a nod to Igor's spaceship in Guardians of the Galaxy 2. The ending showed us that humanity was not even able to reach Mars after they made rocket launchers to send them to space. And instead, it was the cats who had gained sentience, as we saw in season 1, who had journeyed there. With billionaires nowadays trying to go to space, I absolutely found the ending scene very hilarious.
Who are you expecting? Elon Musk?
The animation is cool, it was alright, beautiful, but it wasn't unique because we've already seen this in the previous seasons and in other mediums as well. But all in all, it was a great episode. We now cruise to this episode, Kill Team Kale by the title, which follows a specialist team up against a cybernetic machine who happens to be a bear created by the CIA. This is like if Tropical Thunder had a baby with Arnold Schwarzenegger's Predator.
Bitch.
It was very macho as hell. The CIA basically made Berzilla, and what came next is blood, guts, and a lot of yelling and cursing.
Proper fucking ordnance and kill the shit out of this fucking thing. Die, fucker! Sorry for all the cursing.
And with that, a lot of action and over-the-top 80s gunfight and aesthetics. These comrades fight with the monster to the death, and I think one of the most saddest scenes in animation is most definitely this scene.
Listen, please. Promise.
Please. Tell my wife. I fucked her sister.
I knew something stupid and hilarious like this was coming, and to think that I mourned this guy. Now, after we thought that at least 2 of our heroes had survived, Love, Death and Robots just let us know that this isn't the type of show. The animation popped off, it was extraordinary, and I mean, this is some of the things that is so unique about this show, the art style and animation. We then enter the 3rd episode, The Very Pulse of the Machine, which was based on the short story of Michael Swanwick with the same name. Though the show diverges from the show, it still shares the same basic plot. It follows an astronaut whose rover crashes while exploring Jupiter's moon. The partner of the main character, Martha Kelvison, dies in the crash, and an accident with her suit means she has to use the oxygen from her dead partner's own and also has to carry her along to the ship before oxygen runs out and she dies. We got a quick reference to another book of the author called Poems of Old Earth before the crash. The rest of the episode is just filled with mind-bending and beautiful visualization, and has Martha pump herself full of drugs in order to keep herself going and awake, despite the warning of side effects. The moon she's on communicates with her. Just felt like this girl was tripping. I mean, can you blame her? She was on some Snoop X Wiz Khalifa type of shit. Anyway, the episode ends with her taking a leap of faith to join the consciousness of the moon, and the aftermath shows that the moon was indeed a machine and it communicated with her, and seemed that Martha has now become one with the moon and seemingly gained immortality. The animation, as usual, is gorgeous. The mind-bending, trippy art style just made for one hell of an episode. This is one I don't mind getting a full show or movie and expanded upon. At the third spot, we have the 6th episode of the show, which reminded me a lot of one of my favorite episodes from season 1, Beyond the Aquila Rift. Just like that episode was adapted from a short story, this episode also follows the book of Bruce Sterling's 1982 book Swarm. The story follows a doctor called Ariel, tasked with studying the species known as the swarm, and though it starts off like a really cool adventure, things turn dark halfway through the episode. He arrives and meets Dr. Murney, who had already been there for some time. This harmless study proves not to be the case, as Dr. Ariel reveals humanity's intention of manipulating the creatures into forming a hive mind. Though Murney protests at first, she gives in and this begins their study. Due to the creatures who have also been manipulated by several other species, their plans are thwarted, and Ariel is captured in a very cool sequence and taken to the voice of the swarm, who had already killed and taken over the body of Murney, through whom she saw humanity's plans and motives. Choice is offered to Ariel to either join them and help take over humanity, or just be cloned, and it still happens anyway. Again, this is one of the episodes you wish is made into a movie or a full series with this gorgeous animation and amazing storytelling. Honestly, the cliffhanger just, man, I can't believe this is just one and done. Next up, we arrive on Jibaro, last episode of the show. Honestly, I don't think I've ever seen anything like this. The story is set in an ancient King Arthur era, which recreates the classic myth of a siren. Sirens from legends are creatures who lure people to their doom with their songs and beauty. This episode follows the same classic mythos, but with a unique situation where we follow a deaf knight, our protagonist, whose entire party are lured in by the siren to their death. Due to his disability, which was an advantage, he's saved and the pair are left to deal with each other in a different sense I didn't see coming. Ends up stripping off her rich ornaments, which looked brutal as they are all parts of a body sewn into a skin, and ends up pushing her off the waterfall after he was done. As a result, the entire water was turned into blood, something he unknowingly drinks and gets his hearing back, which drives him insane, and a siren after waking up is able to lure him to his death. From the info gotten from the behind the scenes, it says that the story is meant to show the greed of man, and that if he had just left, he would have kept his life. The art style in this, I think, is in my top 3. The music was enchanting, and the camera work and how everything was shot was just phenomenal. Finally, we have Bad Traveling, the second episode of the show, which follows a crew of space pirates on an alien planet. This dangerous voyage was labeled as bad traveling as the ocean was filled with beasts and the whole journey was just dangerous. After being attacked by one of said beasts and hiding below their ship, the main protagonist, Torin, is chosen to check it out. After he meets with the creature and makes a deal with it to drop off an island, the story just shows forth a test of morality and sacrifice. The animation is just gorgeous to look at. It's absolutely amazing, and man, the voice acting was like top notch. Not saying the other episodes were not on par, but I really loved this episode for some reason. It felt like I was watching a very gritty Pirates of the Caribbean. I did say in the intro that I loved every episode and how tough it was to make this list, so I would just like to shout out these other 3 episodes. as bonuses. The first one is Vaulted Entombed, which is like a mix between Call of Duty Modern Warfare with its first-person view of info goggles with green aimed laser just like in the game, meets Alien, also meets Elder Gods. The second is Mason's Rats. If you thought you had rat problems in your house, then please just shh, because you clearly have never had this before. Just like how the cats evolved and took over in episode 1, the rats here have also gained a similar change due to humans altering of the environment and the entire planet to an extreme degree. I have to say, if you have a rat phobia, please do not attempt to even see this. The last one is the Ninth of the Mini Dead, which is essentially Mini Prepo X Zombie Apocalypse. This episode paid homage to games and movies such as Resident Evil 4, which also has a similar church with a graveyard next to it. It also references the opening of Zack Snyder's Dawn of the Dead and Zombieland among others, with a shootout happening on the ROV similar to the movie. In the end, humanity ends up destroying itself and the entire planet by launching nukes. This episode just shows us how tiny we are when compared to the wider universe. Honestly, when a zombie apocalypse perhaps maybe happens, please do not launch a nuke to destroy us all. That's what I'm saying. Overall, I loved this season more than the second one, and I do hope that some of these concepts are integrated or at least used in some shape or form in a movie or just a spin-off show on one of these episodes. Come on, they can do it. Not only this season, but earlier seasons too. They are just very good. Now do let me know in the comments below what you think of this season. How does it compare to the other seasons for you, and which was your favorite episode? If you enjoyed the video, leave a like, subscribe and turn on that post notification bell not to miss any other video. As always, Nerdy Sage here. See you guys in the next video.